Shalom. Welcome to Shattered Paradigm. There's so much going on in the world today, and now we've got Biden. He's wasted no time implementing the most radical LGBT agenda, and he's moving at an unprecedented rate.
You're right, because on his first day in office, he signed this anti-discrimination executive order, and it's titled Preventing and Combating Discrimination on the Basis of Gender Identity or Sexual Orientation. And one of the things it states in this executive order is that, quote, children should be able to learn without worrying about whether they will be denied access to the restroom, the locker room, or school sports, end quote. So basically allowing athletes with this so-called gender dysphoria to hang out in the locker rooms of their choice.
Yeah, these globalists want to take your kids and reprogram them into their own image. Never mind what you believe is right. They're clearly showing you that big government is the ultimate parental authority and that their agenda for your children supersedes any morality or values you wish to instill in your own children.
What's also disturbing is that the Justice Department might enforce this order via the Obama-era Title IX regulations, which, if you remember, allows biological male transgender athletes to compete in women's sports, and schools that don't comply risk losing funding. So already this order clashes with Idaho state law after Governor Brad Little signed the Fairness in Women's Sports Act in March of 2020, making it the first state to ban transgender so-called girls from participating in girls and women's sports. So basically, Biden's new executive order would deny Idaho's public schools federal funding.
These executive orders are just the beginning of an avalanche of radical leftist policies that they will attempt to force on the people in the coming months and years of this administration.
LGBTQ advocates say that Joe Biden will be the most pro-LGBTQ president ever. He is known in particular for his support for the transgender movement, and he has promised that the Equality Act will be his top legislative priority.
And now to some breaking news just into our newsroom. The Associated Press is reporting that President-elect Joe Biden has chosen Pennsylvania Health Secretary Dr. Rachel Levine to be his Assistant Secretary of Health. In a statement just released, Mr. Biden said Dr. Levine will bring steady leadership and the essential expertise that we need. Levine will be the first openly transgender federal official to be confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Levine is a pediatrician and former Pennsylvania physician general, and she was appointed to her current position by Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf in 2017. Again, President-elect Biden choosing Pennsylvania Health Secretary Dr. Rachel Levine to be his Assistant Secretary of Health.
Levine is a pediatrician and currently serves as Pennsylvania's health secretary and has led the state's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. She's also a professor of pediatrics and psychiatry at the Penn State College of Medicine. Biden has pledged to make diversity a guiding principle in his administrative picks and called her, quote, a historic and deeply qualified choice.
President-elect Joe Biden is expected to announce another history-making nomination, selecting Pete Buttigieg to serve as transportation secretary. The former South Bend, Indiana mayor would become the first openly gay Senate-confirmed cabinet official. Meanwhile, Congress is close to reaching a deal on a coronavirus relief package. Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
President-elect Biden is nominating his former presidential rival, Pete Buttigieg, as Secretary of Transportation. If confirmed, the former South Bend, Indiana mayor would be the first openly gay Senate-approved cabinet official.
And we're seeing the most LGBTQ cabinet level members as well, with 3 identifying as gay or transgender. Romney Smith takes a look at the new administration.
President Biden has tapped 3 high-level federal employees who are also sexual minorities. Pete Buttigieg will become the Transportation Secretary. Dr. Rachel Levine will become the Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services, and Sean Skelly on the Department of Defense transition team. Their jobs highlight their knowledge, skill, and expertise, and Phyllis Harris with LGBT Cleveland says it will have a big impact on young people.
Little LGBT kids who are questioning or who know who they are, they're learning and they're watching and they're seeing themselves. And these recent assignments are a testament to what is possible.
Bethany Studenik with Enlightened Solutions says some adults will also have to adapt to accepting these new leaders.
It's about respecting their ability to assert their own freedom, right? So even if you have different beliefs about this, even if you have different thoughts about this, this is not about you.
And isn't it ironic that the new Assistant Health Secretary is an advocate for one of the most unhealthy lifestyles that anyone could ever engage in?
And unfortunately, for many of our new lawmakers, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law is their guiding moral principle. Yeah, so they're basically saying, do whatever you want. That is, of course, as long as you're not following the word of God.
It goes to show we are truly living in a time of great change and spiritual conflict. The Great Reset, which is a term coined by the global elite, is definitely no understatement. And because spiritual rebellion is reaching a fever pitch, one of the most abominable and damnable transgressions is taking center stage, and we're watching it manifest on a global level, the changing of kinds.
The Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is a God of order. He made mankind in his own image, but Hasatan, Satan, is a God of chaos and confusion. He desires to pollute and defile the holy creation, especially the image bearers.
So basically, we're seeing Satan use the office of the President of the United States, which is seen around the world as the top authority on the earth, to push this great reset, where boys will become girls and girls will become boys.
Mankind is being influenced to create a new image in the likeness of the androgynous, half man, half woman, part animal, Baphomet.
And though it may not seem related, this vaccine is designed to mingle our flesh with animal and synthetic proteins, while their chemical warfare and social engineering influences each sex to take on the attributes of the opposite. Dualism, the amalgamation of polarities. Biden has been presiding over and officiating gay marriages for years. It is not hard to see that he is a vessel inhabited by legions of the unclean.
When in the presence of young girls, the election-stealing commander-in-chief's salivating serpent-like behavior has been documented on many occasions.
And it's no coincidence that he chose Kamala Harris as his VP, who has a history of pushing radical LGBT policies in the state of California. And no doubt, she will continue promoting and incentivizing this population-reducing lifestyle, or shall I say death style, on the people. These sociopathic policymakers have learned that it's most effective to target the young and impressionable minds of our youth. Knowing this, we can foresee the onslaught of policy and curriculum changes in schools that will be affecting our children, and with the looming mandatory vaccinations that may be implemented at public schools, this is the perfect time to consider homeschooling. So many people have already been teaching their children at home because of the lockdowns. Now is the time for people to come together as groups and create their own private schools to save their children from this beast system.
Though we already homeschool, Most High willing, we're looking to come together with like-minded believers in the near future. Believers who want to educate their children and build communities based on their faith and values.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God, as God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty.
We'll have to move heaven and earth to get more people vaccinated, to create more places for them to get vaccinated, to mobilize more medical teams to get shots in people's arms.
the Ascended Masters.
But in those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened,
Nephilim,
and the moon shall not give her light,
and the master race,
and the stars of heaven shall fall.
the sea line of the fallen. They're physicists, biochemists, and social engineers
And the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken.
have converged into one scientific conglomerate of death.
The sun shall be darkened,
Turn out the light,
darkened,
turn out the light,
and the moon shall not give her light.
We're about to go into a dark winter.
The stars of heaven shall fall.
turn out the light,
A dark winter.
turn out the light,
They want you in the dark, lost,
turn out the light,
stumbling
turn out the light,
in the valley of the shadow of death.
The sun shall be darkened,
The blackout,
darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
2021. While the masses were sound asleep,
turn out the light,
fully immersed in distraction,
of love,
the social engineers and spellcasters
of love,
were formulating and designing the people's new worldview.
A whole new set of ideas and opinions. And the masses will swear that these are their own thoughts.
A perpetual state of mass sleep paralysis.
turn out the light, turn out the light,
But for those who have ears to hear,
turn out the light, turn out the light.
we have a message to share.
Too close, too much, too far gone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm yours, you're mine, too far gone.
Though the truth is bitter and disturbing, we believe some of you are ready to receive it.